All right, before we get to the watershed, wanted to give you an update on where we are with our lead testing program. So, as of December the 9th, just today, we've received more than 6,600 requests for lead testing. To meet increased demand for testing, we are working to increase capacity by contracting with additional North Carolina state certified laboratories. No details on that yet. We'll obviously share those as soon as we can. It's very important to note that we are providing one lead test kit per household and only two City of Asheville water customers. The full process for lead sampling typically takes around 2 to 3 weeks, but because of the increased demand, we are currently estimating a 4 to 6 week turnaround time for most test results. We are prioritizing sampling at our county and city schools that we've consistently tested in previous years. Obviously, schools serve vulnerable populations, in this case, children under 6, and are easily accessed and are geographically distributed throughout our distribution system. This will allow us to ensure optimal corrosion control has been restored. We are also prioritizing our lead sampling within our pre-existing compliance testing pool of homes. These are homes that we've tested multiple times over the years. These representative properties were most recently tested for lead and copper in July of 2024, so about 2 months before the storm, and they provide an opportunity to collect comparative testing data from before and after the restoration of the water system. This is another testing strategy that will allow us to ensure optimal corrosion control has been restored. And obviously, the results of these priority sampling pools will be made available on the city's water services recovery page. And we do have some results to report now, not from schools or testing pool, but from people who, in the past, maybe 3 to 4 weeks, have requested a lead testing kit. So, and these results are posted on our water services recovery page at the very top. They were posted there a couple of hours ago. Out of 159 samples taken from mid to late November, 9 had detectable levels of lead on the first draw. Again, first draw is when that water has sat in that pipe for a minimum of 6 hours. Of those 9, only 3 were either at or exceeded the action level of 0.015 parts per million. Here is the most important part. After flushing for 30 seconds, out of 159 samples taken, 0 had detectable levels of lead. I'm going to say that again. Out of 159 samples, after flushing for 30 seconds, 0 had detectable levels of lead. These samples were taken from private homes throughout our distribution system, and the results are very similar to our regular compliant testing done every 3 years. And again, that compliant testing was done earlier this year. We are currently meeting our required 90th percentile target, meaning at least 90% of the first draw samples must have detectable levels of lead under the action limit of 0.015 parts per million. Again, first draw means water was collected straight from the faucet after sitting dormant for a minimum of 6 hours. And flush means water was collected for testing after flushing the faucet for 30 seconds. Another step we're kind of taking to increase capacity, Water Resources is coordinating with Asheville Fire to set up pickup and drop-off sites for lead test kits. Details, including exact locations, have not been finalized, but we will obviously share that information as soon as possible. Now to the watershed. That's the video. Could y'all get that to play? So here we are. This is the watershed at North Fork. This was December the 4th, which I believe was last Wednesday. And this is the first bird's eye view that we have been able to get of the watershed since the storm. You know, we've had personnel be able to walk over some parts of the watershed, but this drone video for the first time gives us kind of a full picture of the scope and the level of the damage that Helene did to our watersheds. As you can see there, that is a huge, huge landslide or flooding, maybe both. That is a tremendous amount of trees that came out of the ground. And when trees come out of the ground, they produce a lot of sand and a lot of silt. And sort of the stream that you see there, that obviously flows into the reservoir at North Fork. And so the practical takeaway of this, we think, is turbidity was 11.9 at 8 o'clock this morning. And again, you can see the sand and the silt there that eventually is going to make its way into the reservoir at North Fork. And so our best estimation right now is that turbidity levels that kind of hover between 10 and 12 for the foreseeable future may be the new normal. And that really underscores the importance of the Corps of Engineers pre-treatment system that is being integrated and activated as we speak. It also underscores the importance of sedimentation basins for our existing filters that would allow us to treat extremely turbid water, because we, again, as I mentioned before, we are one weather event like a blowing snowstorm, or as we get into the spring and summer months, a super intense thunderstorm with heavy winds from the turbidity in North Fork and Beetree, reaching a point where it puts our existing filtration and treatment processes out of commission. So that is my update for today. I know you'll have questions for me after, but for now, I'm going to turn it back to Ms. Campbell.